On June 18, Lithuania imposed a ban on rail transit of cargo from the main territory of Russia to the Russian exclave, the Kaliningrad region. The restrictions apply to goods to European sanctions: coal, metals, cement, timber, construction materials, and high-tech products. In August 2022, restrictions may also affect the supply of petroleum products. Officials, politicians, and state media in Russia call what is happening a provocation, a blockade, and even an excuse for war. Secretary of Russia's Security Council Nikolai Patrushev, who visited Kaliningrad, promised that Russia will certainly react to such hostile actions, and that the consequences will have a serious negative impact on the Lithuanian population. Certainly, Lithuania is afraid to blockade Russia's sea transit to Kaliningrad, as this step would be tantamount to declaring war on Moscow. Russia has many economic ways to influence Lithuania, but they should not be taken gradually, but all at once, to create a shock effect on the republic. Before that, the Croatian journalist assumed that Lithuania, after limiting the transit to the Kaliningrad region, may try to cut off gas supplies to the region. He reminded us that the pipeline, Minsk-Vilnius-Kaunas-Kaliningrad, runs through the territory of Lithuania and Vilnius may use it. The journalist's sources believe that soon gas supplies will be stopped, too. According to preliminary estimates, the restriction might affect up to 50% of the nomenclature of goods, including construction materials and metals. The United States supported Lithuania's decision. There are two types of rail transit from the rest of Russia through Lithuania to the Kaliningrad region: civilian and military. The first one is regulated by the treaty between the EU and Russia, signed in 2007. This is the reason for the current scandal. There is also the transit of military cargoes. In the Lithuanian government circles, these transportations are regulated by the bilateral agreement between Vilnius and Moscow. The military echelons bring, as a rule, fuel. Russia informs them in advance with a special diplomatic note. The train is checked, and Lithuanian authorities escort it from Kiana station on the border with Belarus to Kabarty station on the border with Kaliningrad Oblast. There are no problems with this transit so far. One of the explanations for the current reaction of Moscow, popular in diplomatic circles in Vilnius, is as follows. The Kremlin puts pressure on Lithuania to drag the EU into transit negotiations. This, first, is supposed to confirm the propaganda thesis that Lithuania and other Baltic states are not independent, second, to demonstrate that the EU is forced to talk to the Kremlin, and third, to divert attention from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In Lithuanian military circles and the intelligence services, the emerging situation is viewed with greater concern. In Russia's hybrid war against NATO, the main task is not to seize as much territory as possible but to create a conflict situation. The main goal is not to capture as much territory as possible, but to create a conflict situation in which the Allies will look weak and disconnected, a government source explained to the reporters.